Hey everybody, just give you a little bit of primer on how to do some of this slow backup. Now, a lot of what goes on with some of the Scruggs picking that you want to do in these weird keys, especially in like D, what do you do? E, what do you do? F, what do you do? And a lot of it is going to come down to just playing just very simple backup, okay? And what the first thing you learn in the Scruggs book is learning how to use your two finger chords. And the first exercise that it gives you is to work off your bar chords up here just as a basic GCD exercise. So if I play my bar G, I want to play a bar C, and I want to play a bar D, okay? So your bar G right here at the 12, your bar C at the 17, and your bar D at the 19 is what you're going to be looking for. Now you're probably going to have to train your eyes to find these until you get used to it, but that's the whole point of the exercise, right? So what you're going to do, he recommends that you use your two fingers right here. So you want to use your first and second finger, your index and your middle, as just kind of like a back and forth. So second, first, second, first, second, first. Oh, sorry, I'm a little congested today. It's been going around at work. But what I've seen a lot of people do, and what I like to do, is to actually use your thumb. So instead of using your index and your middle, I've gravitated to more of the Reno style, which is, you know, using your thumb for a lot of stuff. So I'll end up using just my thumb and my middle instead of my index and my middle. It just works better for me. Both work just fine, okay? Now, what he wants you to do is to slide into this first note and just get the cadence going, okay? So you're going to slide into the second string, and then you're going to play it again as you repeat over and over. Well, now the next step, the next level, is to alternate by blowing +2 on your first string, okay? And the reason I say +2 is so that way you don't have to remember so many numbers, all right? It's going to feel very similar because of the shortened little fretwork down here, okay? So a lot of times you're going to have this feel, and then all you have to do is find your set position, and then it's going to be the same interval right here in your fingers, and that's how we end up learning how to play it after a while. Okay, so you're going to use a +2. So instead of playing 12-12, you're going to play 12-14. And all you do is alternate. So play a set off, play a set with it, and then a set back. Okay, so one off, one on, one off, one on, one off. And that's all you have to do. That's essentially it, okay? So to get the right cadence, you want to slide into the first note, and then you're permitted to play your sets. That'll finish out your timing for the first measure. The next measure you want to play is down here at the C, and you're doing the same exact thing. So I'm going to slide into my first one, and then I'm going to play the sets again. Slide up to D. Finish out in G. All right, so tons of variations of how to go about doing this. Everybody has their own particular style of how they work this kind of backup, so I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to tell you every 50, 100, 200, 5,000 players out there that have their own way of doing it, but it all has their own flavor, okay? Now, a couple tricks to help you. You notice that I'm not playing bar chords with my finger, okay? And that's because I've always taught my students over the years to try not to flip your wrist so much because it just slows you down, okay? You're much better off playing with two fingers, or those of you with really big fingers, you can probably get away with with doing what I call like the fiddler's A, right? And you can get away with doing that. Now, some people, if you have big hands, you'll be able to use your middle finger for that. That's fine. I've always tried to use my ring finger because it's just a natural fit. I don't have to stretch my finger far, and I don't have to cram it short, okay? And a lot of times, if I had to do some of the stuff down here, which is the same exact thing down here at a bar C, you might see me use my pinky because it's the natural fit. I don't have to stretch my hand to make that note, which can lead to mistakes or buzzes. And now it just don't sound right. Okay, so just as long as your hand's comfortable, it'll just fit fine. All right. Now that's not the be-all end-all. There's different flavors you can put on it. So back on the Scruggs book, he calls this the X position, or the natural banjo sound position. Okay, and that's because your picks are right in the center of the head, whereas you have what he calls the Y position, which is up here on the neck, which you can do with any acoustic instrument, and you get a totally different sound out of it. You'll also notice I have the old school Reno trick, which is to kill your head with the palm of your hand. Okay, I do not recommend this for beginners because it's going to change your angle of attack. But you can get away with it with this technique because you're only using your fingers, or you're just using your thumb and your middle, so that way you can get to your strings. Okay, so like you can do this if you like, and what I'm doing is I'm actually setting the palm of my hand on the head. You can see where I've done this over the years. This head's about 15 years old. So it gets kind of dirty, which is, I think it makes them sound better. But if I kill the head, if I kill the vibrations coming off this head with my hand, and I do the same exact technique, I get a third sound out of it. Which is useful if you want to play behind somebody who's a real quiet singer, or you're having like a quiet tune or a slow tune. You don't want real ringy, real brash and obnoxious. Or even if you're up here, sometimes it'll ring a little too much. But I can kill it just by laying my hand on the head. And now it sounds totally different. So that's just one little trick that I don't recommend to beginners, but this is a good time to learn if you want to do it. All right. Now, what you'll find with a lot of this stuff is that you're going to need to learn your chords, because there is way beyond using bar chords for this technique. Okay, so I can use the same exact cadence with my picks. I can do the same thing if I move along my set positions within a chord. And this is a classic next level idea to use, because if I use a bar G here, if I use my F position G chord at the 17th fret, and if I use my D position G chord at the 21st fret, I now have three different positions I can move between. So I can go, and it feels exactly the same in my right hand. Okay, just one little trick to get the cadence right. You want to make sure you're sliding on the second fret. So, or I'm sorry, the second string. So I'm making my big slides on that second string. And I can downslide too. And it even works at even at an upscale kind of tempo. So if I go, and you can do all sorts of variations. There I used a pull off right in a moment, which is perfectly fine. You can use different kinds of positions, but I'm only using those first two strings, and I'm moving all between wherever I need to go. Okay, so like one of the first ones that you learn for this is the old the Flatt Scruggs tune, "'Tis Sweet to Be Remembered," which is in F. Okay, and F is a nightmare to a lot of banjo pickers, but I love F. F works really good in an open position. And this tune actually starts off with a Scruggs banjo break in the key of F, and especially open F. So what he's going to do is play here, F, with the bar F, and then we go to B flat, back to F, back to B flat, back to F, B flat, F, G, C, back to F. I believe is how the record went. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but it's been a while since I've heard it. "'Tis sweet to be remembered." That's probably why I'm making these videos. All right. So also you would hear it in something just as simple as like "On My Mind." Now you don't have to be up here in what I call the third position, which is the 12 to 22 range. You can play this technique down here at 7 to 12 if you like. And that's where it's kind of useful, like that kind of tune. On my mind, which is usually in C. On my mind, you're always in my heart. On my mind. And then here comes Scruggs playing out of C. Once I thought our love would die. Darkness is what I find. You're always in my heart and on my mind. So it also works there, okay? One of my favorite pickers in the whole world used to be Dave Evans. And he used to play out of open E quite a bit, which is always fun. But you can use this technique just like you did in "When Snow Falls on My Foggy Mountain Home." So his break started off just like that. So you can use this bar technique even just to get you through these weird keys if you have to take a break. If somebody like points at you and nods, you'll be like, all right, it's your turn. It'll at least get you through. And it's in a lot of classic records. All right, so wherever you need it, you can use it.